Whenever you see a guy and he tries to slut shame you, open your block list. That's what I do. Nigga, show me 2,000 bitches you done turned down. If you show me 2,000 bitches you done turned down, then I believe that you really slut shaming me. Really, niggas be jealous. This is as many niggas I be turning down. I be turning down niggas. Bitch, you don't got that list. Niggas don't got that list. So why y'all be letting men slut shame you? Tell a nigga to pull out his phone and show you how many bitches he got blocked. If a nigga try to slut shame you, tell him open the list. You want to see it. How many bitches you don't turn down? Then you gonna see niggas are really projecting because they don't get no bitches. They don't get no bitches.
On social media, and she was talking about how she's stingy when it comes to her coochie, right? But this woman is a baby mom to 2 kids by 2 different baby fathers. Of course, y'all already know this was a black woman, right? Because we are the only ones that come online and embarrass ourselves all the time for no reason. How are you stingy with the coochie and saying that you are going to go 6 months to a year without giving up any of your coochie to the man that you're dating, but you got 2 kids by 2 different men? No, you're not stingy with the coochie. You're just as bad as the holy roller women who have been ran through for years and years, and then when they finally hit those mid to late 30s, they then decide, oh, you know what? I'm going to now be saved and sanctified, and I'm not having sex until marriage. After you done been ran through. Only a man that does not have options is going to play those games with you and continue to date you, and you're going to be stingy with the coochie while you got kids with all these different men. Like, stop with the nonsense, y'all. Especially in the black community. Stop with the nonsense.
I literally hate when my girlfriends are like, oh, I have a guy friend that I think you'd be interested in. How did he become your guy friend? Oh, he had a crush on you. And then you curved him. And now you're trying to put him onto me. If he wasn't good enough for you, then he's not good enough for me. I don't want him.
Hey, yo, what's happening, black man? E preto, hermano. Now, in this one, yo, you heard what Shorty said, black man? You don't get no itches. You don't get no itches, man. And listen, come on. We already know what time it is, yo. So, let's talk about it, black man. In the first clip, right, you have Keisha in the blonde wig talking about she has over 2,000 guys in her block list, right? Over 2,000 guys in her block list. And she's talking about, oh, I get N-words, right? And then she's talking about don't let a man slut shame you because pretty much he doesn't get no itches. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't get no joints. And the whole point she's trying to get at is that, listen, just because I have a high body count, just because, yes, I turn down most men, I talk about being picky, I talk about being choosy. Yes, I may block a lot of men, but just because I'm not letting you smash and you're feeling some kind of way doesn't mean that, listen, I'm not top B word. You know what I'm saying? 5-star chick. They really believe their shit don't stink, black man. It's crazy to me. Now, she said at the end of the video that he's projecting because he doesn't get no B words. I'm trying to curse less, right? It's not about the fact that a man doesn't get no B words. See, as men, we understand women don't like all men. And unfortunately, when it comes to black women, right, you only like the same men. There's a reason why I played that clip at the very end, right? Where you have that Keisha talking about some, okay, how did that guy become your guy friend? Oh, because you friend zoned him, you curved him, and now you're trying to put him off on me. He only became your guy friend because you weren't interested. If he's not good enough for you, he's not good enough for me. Ooh. So once you lock that in your mind, black men, you realize, damn, that's how Keisha's play the game. See, with black women, it's like, again, that's why I call them sheep, right? Beyonce call them the beehive. They all follow the queen, right? Whoever is the queen in a group of black women, right? The friend group. Let's say it's 5 of them. You have one female who's the queen. They all follow her, right? See, when it comes to black women, they allow their friend group to influence their decision on men. Granted, okay, look at it from a man's perspective. As men, do we all like the same women? No. Not to mention that men tend to be very flexible in what they like, right? You might like tall women, you might like short women. You might like them Latina, Asian, white, black. You might only like black women. You might like her light skin, brown skin, dark skin, tall, short, thick, slim, thick, petite. You know what I'm saying? A cup, B cup, C cup, D cup. You get where I'm going with this, right? You're flexible in what you like. When it comes to them, granted, I understand, most men understand that women don't like all men, but then your 10 to 15% of men that you do like should be different from your friends' 10 to 15%. You shouldn't all like the same men, right? There's no diversity in that. And again, when you look at the stats in the black community, it's very telling. It's very telling, black men. That's why when you look around, damn, you can't throw a rock in the pond without hitting a black joint that already has kids, right? We already know that only a small number of men have kids. And that small number of men, 25% Glocktavius, I talk about it all the time, that number shoots up after 30 years old. Because now you have black men who they weren't trying to pick, right? You weren't looking at him. You weren't checking for him. You wasn't studying this dude. But because now you need help, and because you're trying to lock down help, you'll give a man a kid, right? But you wouldn't have given that same man a kid if you didn't already have a kid by another man and you wasn't a single mom who was struggling. See, it's funny, right? But now let me bounce back to that first clip. She's talking about, again, she has 2,000 men on her block list. You have 2,000 men on the block list because at the end of the day, guys just want to, you know what I'm saying, take something to the bedroom. Guys just want to smash something. So if that means, all right, I got to smash this 4, he's going to smash it. Okay, you got 2,000 guys on the block list, but what's your actual body count? 50 plus. Guarantee a Keisha like that. Come on, bro. Black man, keep it a buck. Yo, see, it's funny. It's funny, right? When you have enough experiences with Keisha, you understand them front and back, dude. You understand Keisha like a map, right? Some of you dudes, you don't need no GPS to drive around your city. You know where everything is at, every place is at, every restaurant, right? Some of us, like myself, I have a photographic memory. Once I drive somewhere and I know, okay, wait, I passed this exit 2 or 3 times. I passed this landmark 2 or 3 times. Okay, I turn left here, I turn right here. I'm guaranteed to see a bum on this corner right here. Yeah, like I'm using landmarks. Some of us have a photographic memory, dude. And it's built through muscle memory, right? After dealing with so many Keishas, after all the years of us growing up, you realize, damn, every Keisha is the same. Yeah, maybe not on a physical level, but the mental, it's all the same, black man. So again, you got 2,000 guys on the block list. You claim to not let a man make you feel some kind of way because he's slut shaming, right? Now, you might say that same guy is only slut shaming you because you're not giving him no pussy. Okay, that might be true, right? Some guys, they do get salty when they get turned down, right? Oh, you was just interested in me before, N-word. Now you salty? Oh, but you a hoe. Oh, you easy. And granted, guys, you have to do better, right? That's why I promote semen retention. But as men, we know it's true. Yeah, you're easy. We know you let a bunch of guys crack. How do you think I found out about you? Through the grapevine. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you may have 2,000 guys on the block list, 2,000 guys who you were not interested in, but you still have a body count of 50 to 100. So, again, they talk about being stingy. You talk about being picky, but then you still rack up a high body count. And if you look at the guys in that body count, right, it seems to be the same circle or the same pool of men that every other female is getting with. Now, granted, of course, if you have a female friend group, how many girls in that? Well, actually, hold on. With Keisha's, there's always stories about a Keisha and some guy who she's dating, right? And that guy smashing one of her friends. It's always a story like that. At least once in every female friend group, there's a story about that. So it proves that, listen, Keisha A, 10 to 15% is the same as Keisha B. Keisha B is the same 10 to 15% interest in men as Keisha C. And it's funny, let's say Keisha D, right? Her 10 to 15%, or hold on, let's say 5% of her 15% are guys who she likes that's not the typical stereotypical guy that every other Keisha would like. You realize if that same black woman, right, Keisha D, is with a guy of her own 5% that's different, right? Her friends will tease her about being with that man. It will constantly be in her ear. Oh no, you could do better. What do you mean she can do better? See, first of all, you have to understand who's putting these ideas in black women's head is coming from other black women. Shout out to AC. Yo, you're dealing with an army. Yeah. One thing about going into the military, they brainwash you. Now, granted, depending on how strong your mind is, you might be very susceptible to being brainwashed, and you might have a strong mind where, okay, you understand what you're dealing with, right? You understand you have to pretty much pay to play, not in that sense, right? But again, you have to pay in order to play. So you go along to get where you need to go, right? Now, that same 5% of men that Keisha D likes, that's not the stereotypical guy, A, B, and C will tease her and shame her for being with those guys until she leaves them. Until she leaves them, break up with them, cheat on them. They might even encourage them to cheat on that 5% of guys, right? Just because, okay, let's say he provides some kind of financial benefit. Okay, keep him around and you can still sleep with the other 10%. That's what I be talking about, yo. So it's like, yeah, guys are salty because we know, first of all, you Keishas are easy. You're sluts, your thoughts, and we know you have high body counts. We know you let guys smash for nothing. You're not charging dudes. You're not telling guys take you on high price dates, or hold on, you tell guys who you don't like to take you on high price dates, right? But then the guys who you like, okay, all he has to do is text you. All he has to do is call you. All he has to do is pick you up in a 392 Charger, a Scat Pack, a wide body, Demon jailbreak. All he needs is Louis Vuitton shoes with a Louis Vuitton belt, Louis Vuitton hat, right? Oh, because he has tattoos and swag. Oh, he's 6 feet tall. Again, black men, just pay attention. She talked about how she has 2,000 guys on the block list. I bet you if you look at the 2,000 guys on the block list, there's a variation between damn near every guy. If you look at the guys who are on her body count, mind you, this is why you always have to multiply Keisha's body count. If Keisha told you she's been with 10 guys, multiply it by 4, because Keisha's, I told you guys this, right? Keisha's talk about how if a guy doesn't perform to her expectation, she doesn't count it, right? She only counts the guys who she feel like, okay, he performed good, right? So in her mind, that's only 10 guys. As men, it don't matter if you stroke that pussy for 3 seconds, you still fucked. I've been seeing those kind of memes online like the last decade, bro. When I was in high school, I still crack though. Oh, you only last for 5 seconds. I still crack though. Oh, you only fuck for 3 minutes. I still crack though. You know what I mean? So she might not count those guys. And I said this in a video a long time ago. What if Keisha has 10 men lined up, right? Let's say the first 7 guys don't perform to her expectation. She will bounce from guy to guy to guy to guy to guy to guy, racking up bodies And then let's say out the first 7 guys, none perform to her expectation. Guy number 8 performs how she wants him to perform, right? Okay, she'll stay with him. You know, Keisha's talk about, always going back to their ex because she doesn't want to run up her body count. Again, what if your ex is in a relationship, right? So then what? You become a side chick? Okay, what if your ex is single, but you know he's dealing with other women? Okay, you become a part of his rotation? You see where I'm going with this, black men? So again, yeah, the same small percentage of guys, right? Yes, we understand women don't like all men, which is fair. That's their preference, right? But then you all like the same men. Again, when you pay attention to the guys that black women like, it's legit copy and paste, bro. Control C, Control V. Command C, Command V. Copy and paste, bro. Copy and paste. So again, Keisha, you are a slut. And yes, men, you need to increase the level of slut shaming that you're doing, because we know you females are easy. Okay, you're just easy for certain guys. Cool. But don't talk about how, too many guys never touched. You know what I mean? I'm not easy. I'm a princess. Like, that's the whole thing that we as men get mad about, because you're bigging yourself up like you're not a slut. You talk about yourself in ways like you're not a slut. You try to portray yourself in ways like you're not a slut, but we know you're a slut, right? Just because I didn't smash don't mean my mans didn't smash, right? Bro, hold on. For you guys who went to college, again, all of us went to high school, bro, we know about you Keishas. Keisha gets smashed by like the same 5 guys that the next... I'm telling you, this is bringing back memories right now. This is bringing back a lot of memories just talking about this. Come on, bro. You Keishas, you get smashed by the same dudes. You legit get smashed. You line up to smash the same guys. And that's the difference where when you look at females in other races, right? Women want their own men, right? If you have Ling Ling, A, B, and C, guess what? Ling Ling, A, B, and C all have a different variation, right? They all have their own 10 to 15% of men that they like, right? Because it's just that many guys. Keisha act like, again, we understand they don't like all men, but then you can't sit here and say, I can't find a good guy. Huh? Well, if you actually bring yourself down to reality, right? And this ties right into the second clip. If you bring yourself down into reality and get out of fantasy land, you get out of Disney World, you realize I do have good options. But when you want to hyper focus on just 2 things, height, hold on, forget 2. Let's just go with height. We already know females always talk about, I want a guy who's tall, 6 feet tall, 6'3" tall, 6'5" tall. Well, the higher you go, the less men who are in that range, right? Then on top of the fact you want this guy to be attractive, make money, right? Be in good shape. Like, come on, shorty. You're putting men into such a small box that of course you don't have no options. Of course you think there's no good men, because you're only looking at the smallest section of guys. Okay, let's say you might be willing to open up your pool of guys. Just the height thing alone, you pretty much knock off 85% of men. And if you're only focused on black men, yeah, you've knocked out pretty much 85 to 90% of black men. So of course you think there's no good options, because the guys who aren't above 6 feet, you feel like, they're not good enough. And that's just height. That is just height. When you factor in everything else, of course all these Keishas are going for the same exact guy. Of course these same dudes don't have to shoot any shots, because Keisha is lining up to shoot her shot. They're at the free throw line. Steph Curry, Kyrie, Carmelo, KD, right? Every dude who's consistent at the free throw line. Chris Paul, right? Rajon Rondo, right? Just making every shot. Shout out to Jalen Brunson, you know? Word. Left hand floater, nigga. For real. Every time. Jalen killed dudes with that left hand floater, man. Every time. It's like it's automatic. And I just find it funny, right? So boom, this goes right into the video number 2. Because you had that one Black John talking about women talk about being stingy, being picky, being choosy with the pussy, but then you have 2 baby dads, 2 children, right? So again, that Keisha who she's talking about, or I'm sorry, the generalization of Keisha's with that mindset and that situation is equivalent to the first video, because again, you talk about how you got all these guys blocked, you talk about how you're stingy and how you're picky, but then you still manage to have 2 baby dads, you still manage to have a high body count. So it proves that what you're talking about is false, right? It proves what you're talking about is false. It proves you're a liar. See, just because you believe it don't mean we as men believe it, because why? Men, we're the truth. We have to operate in the truth. Whether we want to be delusional or not, the world will always show us, listen, you got to wake the F up, right? Life always finds a way to give you its ass to kiss as a man, right? And the same thing for women. It's just that they are more fortunate to be delusional and, again, live in fairy tale world, because at the end of the day, she has box between her legs. And as a man, you want box, right? You want box. So men, we put up with it. So as men, we put up with the things we don't want to deal with. We listen to the nonsense, right? We let her be in fairy tale world. We let her operate in Disney world in order for us to, get some box, right? That's just the reality. But again, Keisha, you can't talk about how, you're stingy and how you picky. You want to be celibate. I made a bunch of videos like this talking about, oh, I'm celibate. No, you're celibate for a man who you don't like. And again, that same man who you don't like, you're trying to manipulate him. You're trying to use him while you still get cracked by Glocktavius, Tyrone, 762 Keem, 556 Trey, right? 223 Quan. Like, come on, yo. We don't got time for this, because Keisha, we know how you operate. We've been seeing this since we were 14, 16, 18, 21, 25, 20, 28. So you think just because now you're in your 30s, right? Now you're 35 years old. Now you're 37 years old. Now you're 32 years old. You're not going to operate the same way. So yeah, in your 30s, you become quote unquote picky, choosy, stingy with the puss. But you still have those same flaw and foul characteristics about yourself that, again, you're still hyperfixated on that 10 to 15%. Okay, let's say you may open up that 15% to 35%, right? Now you're looking at guys who you may have feel like, okay, I wouldn't have gave you an option. I'm sorry, I wouldn't have gave you a choice back in the day when I was younger. But now I'm washed up. Now I'm old. Now I feel like, okay, I need some help, right? Whether she's old, single mom, right? Washed up single mom, or she's a single black woman, right? Maybe she has a decent job in her own place, but you're washed up. Think about it. If a black joint is 35 years old, no kids, right? She's still attractive for her age, in shape, her own place and car. Shorty, you're washed up. We know you doing dicks, right? You putting in overtime on Johnson. And that same kind of female, not only is her manipulation level high, but you also have multiple men, right? I've been seeing videos online talking about how dating right now, modern dating is pretty much indirect prostitution, or the modern era of prostitution. So females try to pretty much cover up, right? Put a blanket over prostitution, and they disguise it as dating or being taken care of. I realize that if you talk to a black woman in a certain way and you mention certain words, it is prostitution, and they understand that. It's like it's a key phrase. I really want to see like the female algorithm of YouTube for a black woman, the female algorithm of TikTok and Instagram for black women. You know, in the past, I was seeing some videos of black women give advice to younger black women of how to take advantage of a man, how to get a man to give you money, how to get a man to give you money and you give him no sex, how to disrespect men and get away with it. You know, all types of negative things on how to treat a man and benefit, but the man gets no benefit out of dealing with you. And just like that female said, if you have no options as a man, guess what you're going to do? You're going to put up with that crap. That's why I told black men, right? You have to open up your options. Are you afraid of the unknown? See, most dudes, you only deal with black women because of close proximity. And let's be honest, for you brothers, you grow up in certain cities, you don't know how to even interact with non-black women. Because when you think about this, right? When you talk to most Keishas are not intellectual. And then the ones who have any kind of intellect, any kind of brain function up there, right? Her brain is bigger than a walnut. She has a more higher level attention span than a damn deer or a squirrel, right? She has more personality than a tree stump. Okay, she uses all of those things as a weapon against you. You're like, come on, yo. She used all those things as a weapon against you just because she feel like, okay, I'm smart. I'm gonna take advantage of him. Like, come on, yo. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here, yo. So like I said, black man, when you don't have an option, yeah, you're going to put up with that crap. Even if you feel like you're not going to put up with it, right? Like I chose to do, but I was still in close proximity at that time in my life. They will try to insert themselves into your life. They will try to physically barge their way into your life because why? Listen, black women, they have like a detector to recognize a man's level of peace and happiness, and they can see it on your face. So they know when guys are being stressed out by a woman, right? Because you don't wake up and smile every day. For all you dudes with a black John, I know for a fact you don't wake up and smile every day. Now, granted, is it every single black woman? Of course. I've never been with every single black woman. Of course it's not, right? Have I been down to Brazil and been dating a black woman for a full 12 months? No. Have I been to Africa and dated a black woman for a full 12 months? No. Again, is a relationship supposed to be perfect? No. But it's supposed to be comparable, right? It's supposed to be corrigible, right? As a man, you should be happy to be with your woman. As a man, right? We understand, okay, we have to sacrifice in this way. We have to compromise in this way, right? It's only black John right here in America where guys feel like, oh man, I'll just deal with it. Some dudes will be unhappy for so long just because he feel like I can get some sex. Really? That's why I told you, black dudes, you need semen retention. At least when you want semen retention, that desire, that urge, that need, okay, it diminishes, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel controlled by you don't feel controlled by the big head and not the little one. I'm sorry. You don't feel controlled by the little head and not the big one. Just so you feel like, oh, some sex is involved. Like, come on, yo. Come on. Anyways, black men, like I said, Keisha, she just told you guys. Only a man with no options is going to put up with that. Black men who are dating Latinas, white women, Asian women, like, they don't complain. I'm not saying things are perfect, but they complain far less. And on top of that, you don't see those women on the internet talking about, oh, I'm being slut shamed. Yo, Keisha, you're easy. You're easy, and not only easy, but you're open about it. You're open about how easy you are. Everybody knows that. So it's like, yo, how can you, man, come on, yo. I remember being in high school, certain females like, yo, shorty, I know you a thought. I know you a thought. I know you fast. I know you easy. You letting dudes run through you. So why would I come through and try and treat you nice? Why am I coming through trying to woo you and spend money on you? Yo, listen, I'm not applying no pressure. all I'm gonna do is text fuck question mark. I'm not wasting no time, yo. I'm not yo being what you being a smooth operator for with a shorty who got mad bodies on her, yo. Come on, yo. Come on, yo. I feel bad for some dudes because yo, some of these joints, you don't know what she was doing when she was a teenager. You don't know what she was doing in her early 20s, right? Getting trained, right? Fucking 10 guys in 1 year, right? Sucking Johnson, right? So hold on, some of these black Jones, and I said sucking Johnson, but I didn't finish the sentence. Some of these black Jones be offering pussy and sex and head to their professors. Yes, letting the professor smash so she can pass the class, bro. You know what I mean? And let me wrap it up, right? Because in that last clip, you had the Keisha talking about some, okay, because he was your friend and you curved him, and now you're trying to pass him off on me. If he wasn't good enough for you, he's not good enough for me, right? I had to learn that the hard way, having female friends, but that's how I know, and no one can tell me otherwise. That's how I know you black women are disgusting. I know how easy you are. I know how fast you are. I know how easy and flimsy you are with the pussy, right? You talk about being stingy. You talk about being picky. You talk about being choosy. But I know how high your body count really is. Trust me, because again, I have female friends. They told me a lot of things. They told me a lot of things, black men, to the point to where they downplay guys. Again, okay, let me go back to the height thing. My female friends, right? I had 5 female friends. They told me, yeah, they be smashing dudes who are not above 6 feet. Granted, they make him might do a little more than the guy who is over 6 feet, but you can still smash, right? Guess what? Those dudes were scammers, drug dealers, thugs. So if you're willing to conform and crash out, yeah, you can still get access to some black pussy if you really want it that bad. You know what I mean? God forbid you a regular dude. God forbid you not a street nigga. God forbid you just walk the sidewalk. God forbid you read books, tuck in your shirt, know how to write properly with good handwriting. God forbid you know how to do basic math, not even algebra, not even advanced math, not calculus, not calculus 1 or 2 or 3, differential equations and integrals. God forbid you're good at chemistry, physics, and biology. God forbid you have hobbies outside of playing craps outside the gas station. Like, come on, son, you shooting dice, right? Anyways, yo, you see where I'm going with this, black man? It's all a game. It's all a joke. Keisha, you're just like the rest of them, right? Okay, and let's say there's a few Keishas who might be different, black men. You're not going to find them because they tease each other so hard. They shame each other so hard that those females go into hiding, right? I even told you those. I know a Latina right now. She's half black, half Mexican, right? She talked about it on her Instagram. She showed the text messages. Her friends were teasing her for being with a guy who was her height, right? But she has interest in a man, right? I'm telling you, black dudes, right? When you deal with these mixed females, it's funny. It's the side of her that's, you might say, yo, really, Scott? Yo, it's the side of her that's not black that's allowing herself to give you a chance. Because, bro, if you guys live anywhere around people who are not black, you see this with your own 2 eyes. I'm not talking about the old guy. I'm talking about young people under the age of 30 years old. You will see a young dude who's white with a white girl who's actually attractive, right? And they're the same height. You'll see Latino dudes, okay, he might be 5'5", she might be 5'3". Guess what? She's happy with that guy. Asian men, same thing. He might be 5'7", she might be 5'5". She's happy to be with him. They're not doing that whole, oh, you got to be 6 feet tall. Like I said, bro, it shows you that everybody else is allowed to have their own preference. They're allowed to have their own 10 to 15%. Because again, I keep saying that because yes, I understand women don't like all men. But you can't sit here and say that there are no good options when it comes to men. And you only hear black women really talk about that, right? I mean, maybe you got other females talk about it too, but who's more extreme, right? When you step outside your house and actually look around, you pay attention, right? They love talking about some, oh, you need to touch grass. Trust me. Dudes touch grass, bro. When you step outside your front door, you're living in reality, or you're walking into reality. Life is bigger than what you see on the damn computer screen or phone screen, right? So when you walk around and look outside, who do you see? Black women walking around single, right? No man and some children. If no children are around, she's definitely single. When you see Latinas, when you see white Johns, when you see Asian women, guess what? They're usually with a man. Okay, you might have those cases where they're by themselves. You can't say she's single, but again, you kind of know when a female is like taken or not, bro. It's just something as a man you can tell, right? You can just tell, bro. Anyways, Keisha, you walk around by yourself, right? You talk about being picky, you talk about being choosy, you talk about being stingy with the puss, but yet you're still a slut. How is that even possible? You still have 2 kids by 2 different men. How is that even possible? Anyways, black man, I'm out. Peace.